Hey, this is Guru Singh. This is Sprint Progress for UCOCS Advisement System. First, I'll show you content of my database. You can see two users, @sung and @jsing. @sung @ucu.edu is the advisor, and @jsing1 @ucu.edu is the student. Now let's begin my user story. As an advisor, I want to be notified if the username or password is wrong so that I can re-enter them. The second criteria is the user is notified when the username or password is wrong. So if I write @sung1 @ucu.edu, says the username is wrong. Now if I put the wrong password, it says the incorrect username and password. As a student, I want to register to the advisement system so that I can log into the system. The second criteria, the sign up button takes the user to the registration page. So I press the sign up button, it takes me to the registration page. As a system, I want to direct authenticated advisors to the profile page so that they can access different menus from the profile page. The second criteria is authenticated advisors are directed towards the advisor profile page. So if I put the right password in, @sung @ucu.edu is directed towards his profile page. As a system, I want to direct authenticated students to the profile page so that they can access different menus from the profile page. The second criteria is authenticated students are directed towards the student profile page. So if I put @jsing1 is directed towards his profile page. As a student, I want to be notified if the email address or student ID is already registered in the system so that I can use a different UC email address. Certain criteria, the student is notified that the email address or student ID is already registered in the system. So in sign up, if I use email address that already exists, it gives me an error. And if I give student ID which already exists, it gives me an error. As a student, I want to receive an email on successful registration so that I can be notified of registration progress. The second criteria, the student receives an email after registration. So if I register a new user, and I sign up, you see that I'm directed to the login page. Now if you see my database, you see that the mmargin3 @ucu.edu has been added. Now if you go to email of mmargin3, you get an email from UCOCS advisement team. As a student, I want to be directed to my profile page if my username and password is valid so that I can be directed to my profile page. So this criteria is the student is directed towards the profile page with username and password is valid. So if and I put her password in, it's directed towards the page. The system, I want to send verification code to registered email so that student can verify themselves. The second criteria, student is sent a verification code in email. When you open the email, you can see the verification code in the. This is the verification code. As a system, I want to send unverified users to verification page so that they can enter the verification code in the that is in the email. The second criteria is unverified users are sent to verification page to enter verification code. Since mmargin is unverified user, she is sent to the verification page. As a system, I want to check if the verification code entered for the login user is correct so that unverified user does not enter the system. The second criteria is the verification code is validated, and if it's correct, the student is directed to the profile page, else an error is shown. So if I put the verification code in and I put some wrong verification code, then it says code verification failed. So if I put the right verification code, it takes me to the student profile page. At system, I want to check if email address exists so that I can notify a user if the email address is not in the system. The system checks if the email address exists in the system. So if you put the wrong email address, you can see that the system notifies that the email address does not exist. System, I want to check if the username and password combination is correct so that only authenticated users log into the system. Sequence criteria, the system checks that the username password combination is valid. So if the valid combination is put in, then the student or the user logs into the system. That's it for sprint 1. Thank you for watching.